Namaste and welcome to Tridevi Chamundamandir, our Friday night puja. I'm Yamajit and Namaste. So glad you could join me this evening or watching it sometime in the future. So this is the next to the last installment of our Ashta Matrika, Eight Little Mother series. And so tonight we're going to be doing a puja to Mahalakshmi. So we've talked about the last couple of editions of this, how there's typically a group of seven goddesses called the Sapta Matrika, and then there's an addition to the collection, making it the Ashta, or eight mother goddesses. Sometimes, depending on region and tradition, it's sometimes it's Mahadurga, and other times, especially in the Vaishnavi sect of Hinduism, that is devotees of Lord Vishnu and his incarnations, the eighth goddess is Mahalakshmi. And we think of Lakshmi as a goddess of prosperity and good fortune. In the case of Mahalakshmi, she also represents that primordial verse as well. So she is seen as the Shakti, the consort of Lord Vishnu, the preserving principle. She also has several forms depending on which one of Vishnu's 10 incarnations you're looking at. So sometimes she is Varahi, the divine mother in the form of a boar, Narashini, the divine mother in the form of a lioness. She is Sita, the consort of Lord Rama, and also Radha, the consort of Lord Krishna. So there's many forms to this aspect of the Divine Mother. Here's one illustration of her, and we see her with two lotuses. And lotuses represent both purity and wisdom. She's displaying two mudras. The one mudra where the fingers are pointing upwards is the mudra of no fear, dispelling fear. And the downward pointing hand, where coins are dropping out of, represents the giving of boons. She has a strong association with water and the ocean. There are stories of her being born from the ocean, similar to the Greco-Roman Venus. If we look at this Lakshmi here, she's displaying the same two hand gestures, fear not and giving boons. And she also has two weapons, the same weapons that are held by Lord Ganesh. So there's a small axe for breaking down obstacles and things that get in our way. And there's a coil of rope, which represents the binding of ignorance and also those distractions that keep us from our true path. So in our puja this evening, we're going to do our typical water cleansing. We'll do some invocations. Our 5 elemental offerings. And then I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, breathe deeply, and meditate for the main hymn that we're going to do to Mahalakshmi, a 37-verse hymn of praise called the Sri Shuktam. So I'm first going to chant the Shuktam in its original Sanskrit, so you can feel the vibrations of the prayer in its original language. We'll then do some rounds of a very simple mantra to Mahalakshmi. Om Srim Namah. Srim is Mahalakshmi's, Lakshmi in general's bij or seed mantra. And then while you're continuing to meditate, I'll read the Sri Shuktam once again in English so you can hear the meaning of it as well. And then we'll bring you out a meditation and we'll do our final verses. Before we begin, I'd like to make a couple of announcements. So, as I mentioned on Tuesday, once again, we're going to be refraining from in person pujas for a while Denver's on this red COVID alert. So, we're going to be going back to broadcast only like we're doing this evening. Tuesday evenings, we're doing our Tuesday satsangs. And this coming Tuesday, it's winter, the days are getting shorter, the nights are getting longer. And so both the gentle yin yoga sequence that we're going to do and the guided meditation will be for the relief of depression, which tends to be rather common this time of year. And then beginning the new month, next Friday, we'll be doing a Kriya Yoga practice and satsang. So those are some things to look forward to. I think it's very appropriate that we are honoring Mahalakshmi as this year comes to a close. It's the day after Thanksgiving. So we've been taking some stock in the things that we're truly thankful for in our lives. And let's begin with a short meditation. I invite you to close your eyes and just begin breathing deeply. Breathe deeply. Letting go of the concerns of the day. Especially all the busyness around the holiday, and maybe those of you who might have been doing some shopping today. Just breathing those distractions away. While breathing in a sense of peace, a sense of contentment with who you are and where you are and who you're with. And let this be a puja focused upon value and wealth, not just material well-being, although you can certainly have that intention for the coming year. Financial stability, maybe improvements in your work situation or pursuing a new career in general. Or on another level, focusing in this coming year on your own sense of self-worth, taking stock in your talents and abilities, the things that you can share with others, your sense of creativity, and also spiritual wealth as well. And bringing your hands together in Anjali Mudra, palms together at your heart center. Let's open our puja tonight by chanting Om 3 times. Inhale. Om.
Jai Mahalakshmi.
Jai Mahalakshmi.
Jai Mahalakshmi.
Jai Mahalakshmi.
Jai Mahalakshmi.
Om. 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 Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Mahalakshmi.
Mahalakshmi.
So I invite you now to make yourselves comfortable. Find a comfortable place in which to sit, either in a chair or on a floor, or in the kitchen. You could even lie down on your back in Shavasana, if that feels right. I invite you to close your eyes. I invite you again to breathe deeply and just let the words and the verses of the chants and the mantras carry your awareness to where it needs to be at this moment. Hari Om. Hiranya Varnam Harnim Survana Rajata Srajam Chandram Haranmayim Lakshmim Jatavado Ma Avaha. Tama Alva Jatavedo Lakshmim Anapagin Panmanyim Yasam Hiranyam Vindhyam Gamashvam Perusan Aham. Ashva Purvam Rata Madhayam Hastanada Prabohinim Sriyam Devim Upavaye Srirma Devi Josatam Kamso Smitam Hiranya Prakaram Adaram Shvalantim Triptam Tapayantim Padmastitam Padmavarnam Tvam Yopave Sriyam. Chandram Prabhasam Yasajvalanitim Sriyam Loke Deva Justam Udaram Tam Padmanim Im Saram Aham Prabhatye Lakshmir Me Natastam Tvam. Adita Varne Tapaso Dijato Vanapatistava Vriksho Attava Bilva Tasya Palane Tapasya Nudatu Maya Adarascha Bharya Alakshmi. Upatumam Devi Shaka Kirtischa Mananasaha Pradurbuta Ashmi Ratasri Ashmin Kritim Redim Dadsome. Kashut Papasamayam Jetitam Alakshmim Nahayameyaham Abutim Asramudim Shasavam Nirnudame Grehat Gandadvaram Dorahasam Nitya Pustam Karisanim Ishvarim Sarva Bhutanam Tam Apave Sri Ram Manaskamam Akustim Vacha Satyam Ashmiya Pashunam Rupare Anasyama Isriya Saretam Yashya Kadmena Prajabhuta Mai Sambhava Kardama Sriyam Vayasa Mekule Mataram Padma Malinim Apa Srijanto Snigdane Chiklita Vasya Megrehe Nicha Devim Mataram Sriyam Vasaya Mekule Ardram Puskaranim Pushtim Pigalam Padma Malinim Chandram Haranmayim Lakshmim Javedoma Avaha Adramya Karanim Yastim Survanam Hema Malinim Suryam Haran Malim Lakshmim Jatavedo Mahad Avaha Tamavaha Jantavedo Lakshmim Anapagamalinim Yasyam Hiryam Prabhutam Gavodasyo Avishan Vindayam Prusyanaham Yasuche Prayato Bhutva Juyad Hajam Anavaham Shuktam Panchadzajam Chashikama Statatam Japet Padma Anene Padmaru Padma Akshi Padma Sambhave Tvamam Bhavasya Padmaski Yena Shakyam Labhayamiyaham Ashvadai Godasye Danadai Mahastane Daname Justam Devi Salva Kamaneschade me Putra Patra Dayanam Hastyafsya Adegaviratstam Prajanam Bhavasye Mata Adios Mantam Karotamam Danam Agnir Danam Vair Danam Suryo Danam Vasyo Danam Indro Bhaktaspur Varanam Danam Asyo Nute Vaitanav Somam Piba Soham Pibatu Virhata Somam Dasanaya Somino Mayam Dadata Somina Na Krodho Nacha Matsarana Lobona Abasamati Bhavanti krita punyanam praktanam Sri Shuktam Japet Sada Vasanto te vibhavati divo avasya vidyodita Ronto sarva bija anyave brahmadvisyo jai Padma Prayi Padmi Padma Haste Padma Ajale Padma Dalasyataki Visha Prayi Vishnu Mano Anyakule Tvatpada Padma Mai Sanhidhast Va Yase Padma Asanastita Vipalu Kanatati Padma Patrayata Akishi Gambedara Vara Niba Sadabara Nimata Sibora Vastro Uttariya Lakshmir Divya Ganendramani Gana Kaschitas Sanapita Hema Kumbaya Nityam Sa Padmahastya Mama Vastu Grisarva Mangalya Yukta Lakshmim Krishlira Samudra Raja Taniyam Sriranga Daname Ishvarim Dasni Bhuta Sammata Deva Vanatram Loka Kadipa Mukuram Shrilman Manda Kata Yaksyasalabha Vibhava Brahme Indra Gamgaranam Tvam Trilokya Krutimbalim Srijam Vande Mukanda Priyam Sudha Lakshmi Moksha Lakshmi Jaya Lakshmi Sarasvati Sri Lakshmir Vara Lakshmir Cha Prasana Mama Sarvada Vara Ankusha Parsa Mobuti Mudram Kadervatim Kamla Asana Stitam Bala Ajaka Kote Prabhatam Ti Netram Bhaje Aham Adyam Jagadishvarim Tvam Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shiva Svada Sadike Sarinye Triambake Devi Naryane Namostute Naryane Namostute Naryane Namostute Srat Sija Nile Soroja Haste Dvatara Amjuke Gandamalya Sobe Bhagavati Hari Valade Majane Tri Bhuvana Bhute Kari Prasida Mayam Vishnu Patnim Kasamam Devim Madhavim Madhava Priyam Vishnu Priya Shakim Devim Namaya Chuna Valabham Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe Vishnu Padni cha dhimai Tano Lakshmi prachodayat. Sri Vachasyam Ayusyam Argogamaya Vidat Paramam Mahiyate Daram Dayam Pasum Bahuputra Labam Shat Samavaram Digamaya. Ranaruga Hadidarida Prapa Kushurapa Mrityava Vaya Shoka Manastapya Asyantu Mama Sarvada. Om Evim Veda Om Asya Devya Chatimai Vishnu Padni Chadimai Tano Lakshmi Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Srim Namah 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 Om Srim Namah. Jai Mahalakshmi.
Jema Mahalakshmi.
I invite you to continue meditating with your eyes closed and your breath open while I once again recite the Sri Juktam, this time in English. We invoke Mahalakshmi, who is of golden complexion, beautiful and adorned with gold and silver garlands, who is like the moon with a golden aura, who is Lakshmi, the embodiment of divinity. We invoke Mahalakshmi. Lakshmi, who does not go away, by whose golden touch we obtain cattle, horses, progeny, and servants. Lakshmi, who is abiding in the chariot of which is driven by horses, in front of whose appearance is heralded by trumpets, the trumpeting of elephants. Devi of prosperity, be pleased with us. Lakshmi, who is having a beautiful smile and who is enclosed by a golden glow, who is eternally satisfied and satisfies all whom she reveals herself, who abides in the lotus and who has the color of the lotus. Lakshmi, who is the embodiment of divinity, whose glory shines like the splendor of the moon in all the worlds, who is noble and who is worshipped by the gods. We take refuge at her feet, she who abides in the lotus, by her grace. Lakshmi, who is the color of the sun and born of tapas. The tapas, the spiritual practices, which is like the huge sacred bilva tree. Let the fruit of that tree of tapas devotion drive away the delusion and ignorance within and without. Lakshmi, by whose presence will come near us the companions of the devas along with glory, inner prosperity, and various jewels of outer prosperity. And we will be reborn in the realm of she, which will grant us inner glory and outer prosperity. Lakshmi, who is the source of all fragrances, who is difficult to approach, who is always filled with abundance and leaves, residue of abundance, wherever she reveals herself, who is the ruling power of all beings. Please invoke her here, she who is the embodiment of divinity. Lakshmi, whose presence will destroy hunger, thirst, and impurity associated with her elder sister, Alakshmi, and drive away the wretchedness and ill fortune within our homes. Lakshmi, for whom our heart truly yearns, and to whom our speech truly tries to reach, by whose presence will come cattle, beauty, and food in our lives as eternal prosperity, and who will reside in us as the glory of divinity. O Lakshmi, we invoke the Divine Mother, who creates loveliness in all things by its presence. Similarly, and by your presence, bring your mother, the Devi, who is the embodiment of all divinity, to dwell within our families and households. Lakshmi, who is like the moisture of a lotus pond which nourishes a soul with her soothing loveliness, and who is encircled by the light of yellow lotuses, who is like a moon with a golden aura. Lakshmi, who is like the moisture which supports the performance of activities, and who is encircled by gold, the glow of the fire of our devotion, who is like the sun with a golden aura. Lakshmi, who does not go away, by whose golden touch we obtain abundance of cattle, servants, horses, and progeny. Those who, after becoming bodily clean and devotionally disposed, perform sacrificial offerings of, of butter day after day, by constantly reciting the verses of the Sri Shuktam, will have their longings fulfilled by the grace of Devi Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi, whose face is of lotus, who is supported by lotus, whose eyes are lotuses, who is born of the lotus. O Mother, you manifest in us the spiritual vision, born of intense devotion by which we are filled with divine bliss. Lakshmi, who is the giver of horses, cows, and wealth to all, and who is the source of great abundance to this world, O Devi, please be gracious, grant wealth both inner and outer to us, and fulfill all of our aspirations. Lakshmi, O Mother, bestow upon us with children and grandchildren to continue our lineage, and wealth, grains, elephants, horses, cows, and carriages for our daily use. We are your children, O Mother. Please make our lives long and full of vigor. Lakshmi, O Mother, you are the power behind Agni, the god of fire. You are the power behind Vayu, the god of wind. You are the power behind Surya, the god of the sun. You are the power behind Vasus, celestial beings. You are the power behind Indra, Brihaspati, Varuna, the god of water. You are the all-pervading essence behind everything. Lakshmi, those who carry Sri Vishnu in their hearts, always drink Soma, the divine bliss within. Let all drink that Soma by destroying their inner enemies of desires, thus gaining nearness to Sri Vishnu. That Soma originates from your divinity, who is the embodiment of Soma, divine bliss. Lakshmi, neither anger nor jealousy, neither greed nor evil intentions can exist in the devotees who have acquired merit by always reciting with devotion the great Sri Shuktam. Lakshmi, O Mother, please shower your light of grace like lightning in a sky filled with thunderclouds, and ascend all the seeds of differentiation to the high spiritual plane. O Mother, you are the nature of Brahman and the destroyer of all hatred. Lakshmi, who is fond of lotuses, who is the possessor of lotuses, who holds lotuses in her hands, who dwells in the abode of lotuses, and whose eyes are like lotus petals, who is fond of worldly manifestations, who are directed toward Sri Vishnu. O Mother, bless us so that we gain nearness to your lotus feet within and without. Lakshmi, who stands on a lotus with her beautiful form with wide hip and eyes like a lotus leaf. Her deep navel is bent inwards, and with her full bosom, she is slightly bent down toward her devotees, and she dresses in pure white garments. Lakshmi, who is bathed with waters from a golden pitcher by the best of celestial elephants, who is studded with various gems, who is eternal with the lotus in her hands, who is united with all the auspicious attributes. O Mother, please reside in our houses and make it auspicious by your presence. Lakshmi, who is the daughter of the king of the ocean, who is the great goddess residing in Keshara Samudra, the milky ocean, the abode of Sri Vishnu. She is served by the devas along with their servants, and who is the one light in the worlds which sprouts behind every manifestation. Lakshmi, by obtaining grace throughout her beautiful soft glance, Lord Brahma, Indra, Shiva, become great. O Mother, your blossom in the three worlds like a lotus as the mother of the vast family. You are praised by all and you are beloved by all. Lakshmi, Mother, may your different forms, Sita Lakshmi, Moksha Lakshmi, Jaya Lakshmi, Sarasvati, Sri Lakshmi, Vada Lakshmi, always be gracious unto us. Lakshmi, from your four hands, first in Vada Mudra, the gesture of boon giving, the second holding a hook, third holding a noose, the fourth holding a Bhati Mudra, the gesture of fearlessness, flows boons, assurances of help during obstacles, assurance of breaking our bondages, and fearlessness. As you stand on the lotus to shower grace upon your devotees, we worship you, O primordial goddess of the universe, from whose three eyes appear millions of newly risen suns and different worlds. Lakshmi, who is the auspiciousness in all auspiciousness. She is auspiciousness herself, complete with all the auspicious attributes, and who fulfills the objectives of the devotees. O expander of consciousness, we bow to you. Lakshmi, who abides in the lotus and holds lotuses in her hands, dressed in dazzling white garments and decorated with the most fragrant garlands, she radiates a divine aura. O goddess, you are dearer than the dearest of Hari and most captivating. You are the source of well-being and prosperity of all the three worlds. O Mother, please be gracious unto us. Lakshmi, O Devi, you are the consort of Sri Vishnu and the embodiment of forbearance. You are the one with Madhava in essence and extremely dear to him. We salute you, O Devi, who is the dear companion of Sri Vishnu and extremely beloved of all. Lakshmi, may we know the divine essence of Mahalakshmi by meditating upon her, on she who is the consort of Lord Vishnu. Let that divine essence of Lakshmi awaken our spiritual consciousness. Lakshmi, O Mother, let your auspiciousness flow in our lives as vital power, making our lives long and healthy and filled with joy. And let your auspiciousness manifest as wealth, grains, cattle, and many offerings, who live happily for hundreds of years, who live happily throughout their long lives. Lakshmi, O Mother, please remove our debts, illness, poverty, sins, hunger, and the possibility of accidental death. And also remove our fears, sorrows, and mental anguishes. O Mother, please remove them always. Mahalakshmi, indeed is Veda, the ultimate knowledge. May we know the divine essence of the great Devi by meditating upon her, who is the consort of Lord Vishnu. Let the divine essence of Lakshmi awaken our spiritual consciousness. All peace, peace, peace. Jai Ma Mahalakshmi.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma Mahalakshmi.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma Mahalakshmi. I invite you now to take a long, deep, clearing breath. letting go of the meditation. Once again, becoming aware of your surroundings. The sound of my voice, the sounds of the room in which you're in. Begin to slowly move, beginning with your fingers and your toes, your hands and feet, your arms and legs. I invite you to bring the palms of your hands to your heart center, rubbing them together vigorously. Bringing them over your eyes, and slowly opening your eyes in the warmth as you let a little light in between your fingers. Massaging your face, your scalp, your neck, shoulders, arms. Once again, bringing the palms of your hands together at heart center. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Om. Jai Ganesha.
Jai Ganesha.
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Ma Devi.
Jai Ma Devi.
Jai Ma Mahalakshmi.
Jai Ma Mahalakshmi.
Jai Mata Di.
Jai Mata Di.
And Namaste. And thank you so much for being here and taking part in this puja with us. Thank you. I want to say namaste to Raphael and Susan who are here, and anybody else who's joined in this evening. I invite you to just hold on to the energies of this puja throughout the night. Have a wonderful night's sleep, and a wonderful day ahead. And I look forward to when you can join me at our Tuesday puja next Friday. Wonderful weekend. Blessings always. Jai Ma. And good night.